Lionel Messi's story does not begin with the flash of the Ballon d'Or awards or the roar of the Camp Nou crowd. It begins in a low-slung, working-class neighborhood of Rosario, Argentina, where the air smells of baked earth, grilling meat, and endless hope. It begins not in a world of wealth, but in a childhood defined by the struggle for a few extra inches. Rosario was Messi's world. He was the third of 4 children born to Jorge, a steel factory worker, and Celia, a part-time cleaner. They were a family of modest means, living in a small house, but their life was rich with one thing: football. Messi was glued to a ball almost from the moment he could walk. His grandmother, Celia, was his first and fiercest champion, the one who convinced coaches to let the tiny, quiet boy play with kids twice his size. Every goal he scores, every time he points to the sky, it is a silent promise and a thank you to her. She died just before his 11th birthday, leaving a void that football alone could fill. He was a blur on the dusty, patchy pitches of the local club, Grandoli, and later, Newell's Old Boys. His speed and impossible control earned him the nickname La Pulga, the Flea, because he was small, fast, and impossible to catch. The opposing parents would scream that he was a ringer, an older kid in a smaller body, because the things he did with the ball defied belief for a child his age. But the joy and the speed came with an alarming reality. While other boys shot up, Leo stayed small. He was shorter than every kid in his age group, and the difference was growing. At age 10, the family sought a medical opinion that would change the course of his life, threatening to cut his dream short before it ever truly began. The grinding years, the needle and fight for height. The diagnosis was a gut punch: growth hormone deficiency, GHD. Without treatment, doctors predicted Leo would barely grow past 4 feet 7 inches. For any child, this would be a difficult prognosis. For a boy whose entire identity, whose entire hope, was wrapped up in being a professional footballer, it was a death sentence for his dream. The treatment was available, nightly injections of synthetic growth hormone, but the cost was prohibitive, over $1,000 per month. This was a fortune for a working-class family in Argentina. His father's factory insurance covered the treatment for only 2 years. After that, the family had to scramble. They desperately approached Newell's Old Boys, the club he adored, for help. The club was reluctant, offering only a small portion of the cost. They approached Argentina's prestigious River Plate. River Plate was eager to sign the phenomenal talent, but the club hesitated at the enormous long-term financial commitment for a condition that had no guarantee of a successful outcome. The struggle became a nightly ritual in the Messi household. A young boy was tasked with injecting a needle into his own leg night after night for years. This wasn't a doctor's visit. It was a constant, lonely act of self-determination. Every injection was a promise to himself, a battle against his own biology. By the time he was 13, the money was gone. The family faced an impossible choice: give up the injections and risk the dream, or find another way. They were trapped, watching their son, their prodigy, fight a biological war they could no longer fund. The big break: contract on a napkin. In late 2000, desperation led to a gamble. An agent, Horacio Gajoli, arranged a trial for the 13-year-old in Spain at FC Barcelona. Leo, accompanied by his father Jorge, flew across the Atlantic, leaving behind his mother, his brothers, and the streets of Rosario. The first trial was plagued by bureaucracy and internal club politics. Some directors hesitated, concerned by the cost of the medical treatment and the risk of signing such a small foreign youth player. They saw the cost. They saw the distance from home. They saw a problem. But when Carles Rexach, Barcelona's technical director, finally saw him play, all hesitation vanished. Rexach described it as an instantaneous, electrifying realization. The kid was Maradona reborn. But the board dragged its feet. Jorge Messi, frustrated and worried about his son's future, gave the club an ultimatum: sign him now or we go back to Argentina. In a famed and frantic lunch meeting at the Pompeia Tennis Club, Rexach knew he had to act before the talent walked out the door forever. With no official paper on hand, he grabbed what he could, a paper napkin. On that fragile piece of paper, he scribbled a commitment, an oath. In Barcelona on 14th of December 2000, Carlos Rexach, FC Barcelona's sporting director, hereby agrees to sign the player Lionel Messi, provided that we keep to the amounts agreed upon. That napkin, now framed and locked away in a bank vault, was the contract that changed football history. Barcelona agreed to pay for the full cost of his growth hormone treatment and find work for his father. The GHD that almost ended his career in Argentina was the same obstacle that forced him to leave everything and sign the most important contract of his life. The unseen battle and the price, the mute one with unreachable dream moving to Barcelona, was not an instant victory. It was a shattering emotional sacrifice. His mother and two siblings returned to Argentina within a year, unable to settle in the new country. Lionel stayed, alone with his father, in an unfamiliar city, dedicated entirely to the dream. At the famed La Masia Academy, the physical discomfort was gone. The injections were covered, but the emotional pain was immense. He was a small, silent outsider. The Catalan kids, who were trained to be outgoing and vocal, nicknamed the quiet, homesick Argentine El Mudo, the mute one. He was quiet in the dressing room, but on the pitch he spoke a universal language. While others were out enjoying their youth, Leo was focused. He was the last one to leave the training ground, practicing free kicks and dribbling drills endlessly. He had made the biggest sacrifice a boy could make, and he was determined to prove it was worth it. His professional career was a blur of success. The famous goal where Ronaldinho assisted him, the first Ballon d'Or in 2009. But the pressure came from a different front, his country. For years, as he won everything for Barcelona, the Argentine media and fans criticized him mercilessly. They said he wasn't passionate enough, that he didn't sing the anthem, that he was more Catalan than Argentine. The criticism was a painful, continuous assault on his identity and his pride. This pressure culminated in years of heartbreak with the national team, the lost 2014 World Cup final, the successive Copa America final losses. After missing a penalty in the 2016 Copa America final loss, Messi, the best player in the world, did the unthinkable. He quit the national team. He broke down in tears, overwhelmed by the feeling that he could never deliver the one trophy that mattered most to his people. This was the dark night of the soul, the moment he decided the price was too high and the dream was unreachable. But the Argentine public, realizing the depth of their unfair criticism, staged mass rallies begging him to return. He listened. He returned, burdened by the ghost of his past failures, with one singular, terrifying goal: to win the World Cup. It was an obsession that defined the final chapter of his career. The legacy. The final act of the story is the long-awaited World Cup victory in 2022. It was the moment the quiet small boy from Rosario, who had battled his own body, his own club's doubts, and his entire country's criticism, finally definitively completed the circle. The win wasn't just a trophy, it was a narrative correction. It was a victory for the little guy who had to fight for every inch. It proved that discipline is simply love made visible. His love for the game, his love for his family, and his love for the country he had sacrificed everything to leave, and then everything to save. Messi's life is a masterclass in silent persistence. Unlike others whose ambition is loud, Messi's ambition was expressed through action, through endless repetition, through the quiet strength of taking an injection every night for years. His mantra is the inverse of many self-help philosophies. Focus on the love, not the title. He often says, "Money is not a motivating factor. My motivation comes from playing the game I love." If you are watching this, if you feel small, if you feel overlooked, if you feel that your potential is being denied by something beyond your control, your background, your health, your physical stature, look no further than the quiet genius who overcame a biological destiny. Lionel Messi's journey is proof that the most powerful force in the universe is not size, strength, or volume. It is unwavering love and belief. The boy who fought for height is the man who ascended to a height no one else has ever reached. The choice is always yours. Let the obstacle define you or use it to propel you. Take the hit, get back up, and find your own napkin contract. The silent ones, the persistent ones, the ones who truly love the work, they are the ones who change the world.